You were standing at your kitchen window, coffee in hand. The feeder was full. Chickadees, a nuthatch, that one cardinal who shows up every morning like clockwork. And then they were gone. Every single bird, in under 4 seconds. You didn't hear a hawk. You didn't see a cat. Nothing moved. And you had no idea why. Here's the unsettling truth. Something happened. Something real and measurable. You just didn't have the biology to detect it. Your birds did. I'm going to show you 20 things your backyard birds can see, feel, and sense that are completely invisible to you. Stay until number 20. It isn't just science. It will change the way you look at your yard for the rest of your life. Welcome to Feathrix. Subscribe if you're new. Every week we take something you've already seen 100 times and show you what's actually happening beneath the surface. Let's go. Number 1. The storm that hasn't arrived yet. You checked the forecast this morning. Clear skies through Thursday. Your birds already know that's wrong. Birds have a structure in their inner ear called the paratympanic organ, a pressure sensing system so precise it can detect barometric shifts of less than 1 millibar. That's a change in air pressure so small most weather stations don't flag it yet. When a storm system is still hundreds of miles away, your birds feel it as a physical sensation, like the moment in an elevator when your ears need to pop. Watch your feeder the day before a major storm. You'll see something that looks like panic eating. Birds loading up, hitting the sweat harder than usual, coming back repeatedly in a way that feels frantic. They aren't being greedy. They're preparing for something they can feel coming and you cannot. And that silence, 9 times out of 10, it isn't a predator. It's a pressure drop. A front moving in. Your birds felt it arrive. You'll feel it tomorrow when the rain starts. Number 2. Your face. Specifically. In 2009, researchers at the University of Washington ran a study where people wore specific masks while handling and banding crows on a campus. Months later, those same people walked through campus in different clothes, different contexts, no tools in hand. The crows who had been handled mobbed them specifically, calling out, dive-bombing, following them, while ignoring every other person nearby. They had memorized a face, not a silhouette, not a general shape, a specific human face. Similar recognition has been documented in magpies and mockingbirds. The mockingbird on your fence may know your face. It may know the difference between you, the person who fills the feeder, and a stranger who just walked into your yard. Your birds may have been watching you, learning you, building a model of you, for months, possibly years. Every time you walk outside, you may be recognized. Number 3. A color on your feathers that doesn't exist. You look at your male cardinal and you see red. Brilliant, saturated red. You think you understand what you're seeing. You don't. Your eyes have 3 color receptors. Birds have 4. That 4th is tuned to ultraviolet light, a part of the spectrum your visual system has no access to whatsoever. It doesn't look dim. It doesn't look blurry. It simply does not exist in your world. In the bird's world, your cardinal isn't just red. There are UV patterns layered across his plumage, markings that communicate health, age, and genetic quality in a visual language you are completely blind to. The female choosing a mate isn't just looking at what you're seeing. She's evaluating an entirely different dimension of what he looks like. Even the birds that look plain to you, sparrows, female finches, are wearing markings visible to every other bird in your yard that you will never once perceive. You have never actually seen a bird. Number 4. The magnetic lines of the Earth. Something lives inside a bird's eye that we still don't fully understand, and the explanation, when scientists finally got close to it, turned out to involve quantum physics. A protein called cryptochrome reacts to magnetic fields through a process called quantum radical pairs, a mechanism so strange it belongs in a physics textbook, not a bird's eye. Yet, there it is. Researchers believe it creates something like a visual overlay, a directional map that appears as a subtle shift in what the bird actually sees. Not a feeling, not an instinct, a perception. A thing they can literally see that you cannot. When a tiny warbler weighing less than half an ounce crosses the Gulf of Mexico at night, no landmarks, no stars visible through cloud cover. It is navigating by a quantum sense that doesn't even have a clean name in human language. It reads the magnetic topography of the planet, the way you read a road sign. The bird at your feeder right now has this. It is orienting itself, this moment, relative to forces that pass through your body, without you knowing they exist. Number 5. The sound map of the Earth. On August 11, 1999, during the solar eclipse over Europe, millions of birds went suddenly, completely silent. Swifts descended. Roosting behavior began. Observers reported it looked like the birds believed night had arrived. But there's a layer underneath that story almost no one talks about. Pre-settling behavior began too early to be explained by the light change alone. What the birds may have been responding to is infrasound, sound waves that travel below 20 Hz, the lower limit of human hearing, generated by the geometry of the moon's shadow moving across the Earth, by atmospheric pressure shifts, by electromagnetic changes moving through the air long before the eclipse was visible. You cannot hear any of it, not one note of it. But it doesn't stop there. Pigeons have been documented detecting infrasound from mountain ranges hundreds of miles away, and using those waves as navigational landmarks, the way you'd use a visible peak on the horizon. The ocean generates it, highways generate it, even large trees generate infrasound when wind moves through them in a specific way. Your birds are not just listening to a world you can't hear. They are navigating by its shape. They carry a sound map of the physical landscape inside their heads, a map you don't have the hardware to read. Your quiet yard is not quiet. You just cannot hear what's in it. Number 6. The exact moment you wake up. You have never mentioned your schedule to your birds. You've never trained them. And yet, if you've been filling your feeder at the same time each morning for more than a few weeks, there are birds in your yard right now who have built a model of you. Birds have what researchers call circadian-linked time cells, neurons that encode specific events at specific times of day with a precision that rivals a digital clock. They know when the feeder usually gets filled. They begin arriving in advance, not because they see you coming, because they have made a prediction about your behavior and they are acting on it. If you've ever stepped outside earlier than usual and found birds already waiting, that's not coincidence. That's a bird who knows your routine better than you realized anyone was paying attention. Number 7. The hidden layer covering your entire yard. Your yard looks like a yard to you. To your birds, it is covered in a layer of information you have been walking through for years without knowing it was there. Bird droppings and urine contain UV reflective compounds. Under ultraviolet light your birds see naturally. These traces glow. Other birds have passed through your yard and left signatures marking every landing spot, every preferred branch, every place another bird has fed or claimed territory. A kestrel hunting over a field can see the UV-marked runways of voles moving through grass, trails that look like neon signs to them and are completely invisible to you. And it doesn't stop at the ground. The berries in your garden are doing the same thing. Many fruits have evolved UV markings specifically because birds are their primary seed dispersers. The berry isn't just red. It carries a UV ripeness signal, a co-evolutionary advertisement targeted at bird vision specifically. Not yours. Your flowers carry UV guide patterns pointing toward nectar, landing markers, signals that bees and birds can see, and you cannot. Your garden has been having a visual conversation for millions of years. You have never been part of it. Number 8. Individual voices inside a flock. You hear a flock of sparrows and you hear sparrows. Your birds hear something closer to a city full of people they know by name. Research into contact calls, the short chips and notes birds use to stay connected in a flock, has shown that many species embed individual identity into every call. It is not just sparrow noise. It is this sparrow right now telling that specific sparrow where it is. Studies of zebra finches showed individuals could be identified by their contact calls with near-perfect accuracy, and that flock members responded differently to calls from known birds versus strangers. The birds in your yard know each other as individuals. The hierarchy, the relationships, the history between this chickadee and that one. It's all encoded in sounds that register to you as pleasant ambient bird song. Number 9. The vibration in a branch before you arrive. Birds do not wait to see you. They often feel you coming. Mechanoreceptors, pressure-sensitive nerve endings, are concentrated in birds' feet with extraordinary density. The branch a chickadee is perched on transmits vibration. Footsteps on soil. A door closing inside your house. The particular vibration signature of your footfall, transmitted through ground, through foundation, through exterior wall, into deck boards, into the branch itself. Researchers studying nest site selection found that some birds actively avoid branches connected too directly to pathways where humans walk. They have learned to read the vibration landscape of your property, and they move through it accordingly. You think you're approaching the window quietly. The bird on the feeder felt you push back your chair. Number 10. The internal third eye. Your birds have a light sensing system that has nothing to do with their eyes. Buried deep inside a bird's brain, literally inside the skull, beneath tissue and bone, are neurons called deep brain photoreceptors. Light penetrates the thin skull of a small bird and stimulates these internal receptors directly. They function as a secondary circadian system, measuring the length of daylight independently of what the eyes are seeing. This isn't a metaphor. It's a documented anatomical structure, and what it triggers is one of the most precise biological clocks in nature. When the days begin to shorten, not by hours, but by minutes per day, these internal receptors detect it. A hormonal cascade millions of years old begins. Fat reserves build. Feather quality shifts. The restlessness that ornithologists call zugunruha begins. A migratory agitation that makes birds orient toward magnetic south, unable to settle, even in a warm and comfortable yard. A bird that has sat peacefully at your feeder all summer suddenly seems anxious, distracted, pulled toward something you can't see. It didn't decide to leave. Its body was measuring a light change that never reached your awareness, waiting for a threshold you don't have, and it crossed it. But all of these senses, the pressure, the UV, the quantum compass, the sound map of the Earth itself, they are just tools in service of the most unsettling thing on this list. And we're getting there. Number 11. The alarm that never reached your ears. Back to that silence. The specific call that empties a yard in under 4 seconds is called an aerial predator alarm call. In many species, it's a high-pitched, thin note, designed, as far as researchers can determine, to be acoustically difficult to locate. It confuses the predator's ability to triangulate the source. It also falls at the very upper edge of human hearing. You may have heard it as a faint high tone. To every bird in your yard, it was a full-volume air raid siren, specific in its urgency, specific in what it meant. Every bird processed it and responded within the same second. Your yard went silent because a communication network you cannot fully access told every individual in it to go. The hawk may not have even appeared yet. The call came first. You were the last to know. Number 12. The slow-motion world. A chickadee's heart beats approximately 1,000 times per minute. Yours beats around 65. This is why you can never catch a fly with your bare hands, and why a bird sees your fastest move coming a mile away. Their visual flicker fusion rate, the speed at which they process individual visual frames, is nearly 3 times faster than yours. A fluorescent light that appears perfectly steady to you flickers visibly and rapidly to them. From where your bird is sitting, you move in slow motion. Every micro-expression on your face, every slight shift in your weight, every tiny flinch toward the window, they are watching it unfold in a version of time that is stretched and detailed compared to yours. What feels like a quick, casual glance to you is a long, deliberate movement to them. They are not just watching you. They are watching you in bullet time. And they are reading every frame. Number 13. Polarized light at dawn. Sunrise looks like sunrise to you. To a migratory bird, it looks like a compass. The atmosphere scatters light in a way that creates polarization patterns, rings and bands of light vibrating in specific directions relative to the sun's position. To human eyes, this is invisible. We need polarized lenses to detect it. Birds have the receptors built in. Research has confirmed that many species use the polarized light pattern at sunrise and sunset to calibrate their magnetic compass, checking one navigation system against another. When the sun rises over your yard and the birds begin to move, some of them are reading a map written in the light itself, a map covering the entire sky, painted there every morning, invisible to you. Number 14. The vibration of a bill. At your feeder, the chickadee isn't randomly selecting seeds. Birds have mechanoreceptors in their bills, pressure-sensitive nerve endings so fine they can detect differences in seed weight to a fraction of a gram. The chickadee is hefting each seed, evaluating caloric density relative to shell thickness, running an energy calculation in a fraction of a second before making its choice. Every visit to your feeder is a rapid sequence of measurements you can't see. They are not eating. They are calculating. Number 15. Star maps, memorized at birth. There is a window, a few weeks in a young bird's first summer, during which it stares at the night sky and imprints on the pattern of stars rotating around the celestial pole. This isn't repeated practice. It happens once in a critical developmental period, and it lasts a lifetime. A young white-throated sparrow in your yard this fall may be cross-referencing a star map it memorized as a nestling with its magnetic sense and its polarized light compass, navigating accurately to a wintering ground it has never once seen. It is 3 inches long, it weighs less than an ounce, and it is carrying inside its small brain a sky chart. Number 16. Quickfire. What your birdbath is telling them. You look at the birdbath and see clean water. Your bird smells a chemical profile. Birds have far more developed olfactory systems than scientists once believed. Enough to detect algae blooming before it's visible, or compounds you'd never notice. If your bird leans down and walks away without drinking, trust that. It read something in the water that you missed entirely. Number 17. The emotional temperature of your yard. You think the bird at your feeder is making a simple binary calculation, predator or not, safe or not. The science suggests something more layered. When you are stressed or anxious, your body changes. Cortisol, adrenaline, shifts in your breath and skin chemistry, tension in your posture and movement. Birds assess their environment through a matrix of cues we haven't fully mapped yet. What we know with confidence is this. If you walk outside, distracted, rushing, unsettled, your birds notice something different about you. They don't know you're late for a meeting, but something has shifted in the yard, and they may not come down until it passes. Your mood is visible to your birds in ways you've never considered. Number 18. The politics at your feeder. The birds at your feeder aren't a random assembly of individuals. They are a society, with politics, with history. In many resident species, chickadees, titmice, nuthatches, the winter flock is a structured social unit whose memory spans years. Individuals know each other's rank, their history, their reliability. Research on black-capped chickadees shows that disrupting this hierarchy causes measurable stress throughout the entire group. The peaceful-looking cluster at your feeder is anything but random, and somewhere in their reckoning of who belongs and who doesn't, there's a category for you. Number 19. the angle of their attention. Most songbirds have eyes positioned on the sides of their head, giving them a visual field approaching 340 degrees. They can see almost everything around them simultaneously, including directly behind. But here's the part that changes how you watch birds. They almost never look directly at what they're paying closest attention to. When a bird turns its head at a slight angle, the classic head tilt, it is centering you in its monocular field, which is where its sharpest vision is concentrated. The direct, forward-facing look you associate with attention is actually a wide-angle overview. The sideways look is the close read. Every time a bird tilts its head at you, it is paying you the sharpest attention it has. It has decided you are worth a hard look. Number 20, you. I want you to sit with this one. We talked earlier about the crow study, how they memorized a specific human face and mobbed that person for years. But here's what I left out. The crows taught the face to their offspring. Young crows who had never encountered the researcher learned to mob that specific face from their parents. The recognition was passed down, a human face, encoded into the memory of a crow family, transmitted across generations. Now, think about your yard. Research on individual bird returns has documented birds coming back to the same feeders, the same yards, the same specific locations year after year. A study of great tits in the UK found that birds developed different flight initiation distances, how close they'd let a specific person approach, based on their individual history with that human. Not humans in general, that specific person. The cardinal who comes to your feeder every morning, the chickadee who arrives before you've finished your coffee, the bird who was gone during the weeks you were traveling and returned when you did. This is not a story you're telling yourself. The science says they may know you, not human, you. The one who moves like this, who arrives at this time, who fills this specific feeder. You have been sharing your yard with creatures who have been paying attention to you, who have memorized the pattern of you, who have in some documented and measurable way built a record of who you are. They cannot tell you what they know, but they are out there right now in your yard, watching, and somewhere inside a perception you will never have full access to. There is a record of you. Every time you walk outside, you may be recognized. That is not sentiment, that is science. The next time your yard goes silent, don't look for the hawk. Look for what you can't see. Feel for the pressure you can't feel. Listen for the frequency you can't hear. Your birds already know. You're only beginning to. Look at the bird in your yard right now. Does it look like it's waiting for you? Drop a comment, tell me its name, and that one moment it seemed to speak to you, because I think something real was happening, and I want to hear it. If this changed how you see your yard, subscribe to Feathrix. Every week, one ordinary moment, and what your birds were actually experiencing inside it. They are not just visitors to your yard. They are witnesses to your life, and they've been paying attention longer than you knew.